I've been on Earth for about 3 decades now, and we all have to build our relationship with pain, right? Like too much of pain, and you're just doomed. A little bit of pain, you're probably not gonna come out of this life with too much wisdom, but just enough pain where you're discomfortable enough to get to that point where, whoa, I'm not okay with this, I'm not okay with this, I'm not okay with this. Yes, grasp it. And that's what I do at the gym. That's what I do with investing, right? Right now I'm learning a lot about cryptocurrencies, and that's how it is with relationships, right? I think a lot of us grew out of being dumped and left and things like that. Maybe parents leaving, right? If you come from a family of divorce and you had a relationship with one parent or the other, and now you see them like, once every now and then instead of every day, it's now 2 out of 7 days, or, just the weekend, something like that. You go through this discomfortable pain, but it's just enough to tolerate. But what is hard to realize is it's not going to stop. When you conquer one type of pain, you unlock a world that accesses even more type of pain. So for example, if you're benching at the gym and you're doing 140 pounds with your chest, one day you're going to be like, wait a second, I could go even harder. And you're going to be doing 170, and that's going to hurt even more, or 180 or 200, or doing more reps, whatever it is. There's always a new pain to unlock when you're on this growth journey, right? And I would still call it wealth growth, even though it's not monetary. So I've unlocked a new type of pain, a pain that I never really considered, because I work as a behavior analyst. I'm a clinical supervisor at a clinic working with kids with the autism diagnosis. Well, most of them have it, at least. And I grow there with my team. And, sometimes team members leave and you get really attached. And I didn't realize just how much energy it takes to attach to someone. So let me rewind. I want to retire, or be able to retire and live a work optional life by 2030. Right now, I've been investing since 2015, and at the time of the recording, it's 2021, and I've accumulated about 300,000 to $350,000, give or take. And I'm getting closer and closer to my retirement work optional lifestyle goals of having a portfolio large enough where I could withdraw a small amount every month and it'll pay for my rent, my food, and expenses. So I always imagined me leaving the workplace. But then I really started thinking about that term work optional, because I love my job. I love it so much. Every day I come in and I'm so excited. It's a lot of fun. And even on days where I don't come in and have to write reports, like I kind of like that struggle of like, oh my gosh, am I going to get this in on time? Even if it's late, like the world's going to keep spinning. Right? Yeah. A lot of privilege to have that type of mindset, right? Like, hey, even if I mess up, it's going to be okay. But that's not the topic of this video. The topic of this video is I've I've kind of reimagined my work optional life with more work than optional elements of it, where I really wanted to keep going. Like, it's just fun. And that retirement stuff, like, it's there. Like, if I wanted to stop, I could stop, but I probably wouldn't. But now, this new type of pain that I unlocked. So, I've been at my job for about a year and a half in this current position at this clinic. And I've grown to love and care about so many people. And every month, right, as we grow as a business, more and more people are coming on. And I kind of find it a little bit more difficult to build a genuine connection with more and more people. Now, it's happening. It's for sure happening. Like, we have really honest conversations and get to know each other, but there's a type of psychological burnout that you experience attaching yourself so close to. I thought that was a ghost, but that's my shadow right there. I got a little scared. There it is. You saw that? Yeah, that's me. Um, you get so attached to people that it's hard to have that space to attach yourself to new people. And when OGs, like people who started on the day one, they leave, like it really, like, your first instinct kind of says a lot about it. Like the news of someone leaving. And I'm, I guess, not humble enough to say I get really excited for them, and then I get really, really sad for myself, for the clinic, for the clients. Um, but I get really excited for them because at the end of the day, I want I want them to claim it all, right? If they could get paid more somewhere else, or if their hours are less, or they have a earlier schedule clearing up their evenings, like, and we just can't, you know, provide that. Like, I'm always rooting for that, and that's why I talk about investing. I talk about my money, and some of them might be watching this. Hey, what's up, guys? Might be watching this right now. And by the way, if you're watching this right now, drop a like and all that. um, the moral of the story is it's it's gonna be tough when you work somewhere for 10 years and you will see so many people come and go, and you're gonna invest, you know, yourself in them. And I guess all you can really hope is whatever you gave them compounds with them, and they take it to the next place, and your bond, your relationship ripples out. And I know that's true for me. I remember my very first ABA, applied behavior analysis, supervisor. She was my clinical supervisor when I was doing one-on-one services with kids on the autism spectrum. And she told me so many valuable lessons. Like, when I'm doing my sessions, I hear her voice so many times. Tara, yeah, I can never forget Tara. And I had a few other supervisors that are a little bit more forgettable. Just kidding. I remember all of them. Actually, don't remember all of them. But at the end of the day, like, that's my role. Like, to do the best that I can, and not just the best, but really, like, get in there, get in people's lives, and impact them in a way that, you know, I made so many mistakes in my life. Not that many, but the mistakes that I made in my life, or the opportunities that I didn't know how to seize, whether it's work-wise or relationship-wise, I try to pass it on as quickly as possible to either the next generation, people older than me, or even the same age as all people in general, because it's a shortcut. Communication is a shortcut. That's why stocks, right? I spent 5 years studying stocks, investing, and building this $300,000 portfolio. So now the next person, if they're younger than I am, they're going to have way more money probably than me with the same amount of time, because of the experience that I passed on to them with just, I don't know, sentences being spoken in passing. And that's kind of it. Like, I started off feeling really, really sad, because realizing that people will keep moving, keep leaving, new faces will come, building that connection, seeing like someone uncomfortable in a session, they're like, oh my gosh, do I tell them? I was like, yeah, tell me your fears. I'm listening, and I'll tell you mine. I'm scared of food. I'm scared of ketchup, especially. Oh man, ketchup. I need to make a whole video about my food phobia. Regardless, though, I think that the realization that not everything lasts is even more reason to retire earlier, or have the ability to, because it's going to get exhausting at a certain point investing in human beings, when you need to be able to detach. You need to be able to leave a space, breathe in, and come back. And to me, that's what balance is all about. So maybe in the future I'll take a few years off and travel, or travel in here. I've been traveling in here a lot, and that's where most of my raps come from. That's where a lot of my cool ideas come from. I usually make like music videos in my head about like songs I'm listening to. I've been listening to a lot of Immortal Technique, and just like getting religious figures in my head and doing that. And speaking of religious figures, right, like the cost of that, like, let's just take the story of Jesus, for example. Whether you believe it or not, it's still a good story, right? And that ability to connect to so many people and not getting tired of it, right? That's what hit me. Like, these days, if you're a celebrity or have a following, like, I got 22,000 people I follow on that follow me on Instagram, and 1,500 or so, by the way, thank you, follow me on YouTube. And I do have a deep connection with maybe dozens and dozens of people I've never met in person, maybe even more than dozens, hundreds, but it's not the same type of energy. So it's easier to connect to more people, but not as, I don't want to say profoundly, because I definitely made amazing friends online, but that mental energy of like memorizing a person's face, their expressions, and then, you know, them not being there and you doing it with someone else. And I guess that's romance, right? Am I in love?